Thank you for coming in to listen to me. I hope you find it thought-provoking and enjoyable. It is possible that, when you saw the title of this video, you felt a certain hope, at the same time that you had in mind a more or less concrete situation that you would like to live. It is clear that there are certain limitations that, by agreement with the way the world you live in works, do exist. In most cases, perhaps the answer is that it can be done, and yet it also has a but. If we speak from the more metaphysical and loftier side, I would dare to say no. There is no such thing as the impossible. Why? Well, it's simple. You are everything. You are the source, from which all existing and yet to be existing realities that you can perceive and even just imagine are born. At some point in existence, whether it be other timelines or other physical locations, so to speak, or perhaps another moment in existence, everything you are capable of imagining can exist, with enough focus on that. This doesn't mean that you open the window now and jump out of it, because it is possible to fly. Please don't misunderstand me. As I said at the beginning, there are some agreements or rules for the reality in which the character you are experiencing yourself to be right now lives, because it is part of the big experience or the big story you intend to live through it. The fact that things are not impossible does not mean that we should stop being cautious and congruent with the level at which we currently find ourselves. Moreover, with this example, which may seem absurd at first glance, we would be trying to access a very high level all at once, and things usually take a very long process in this sense. Especially when you are trying to access another density or a different reality. Little by little you become concordant with that frequency. Never all at once. However, by being a seed aware of actually being the creator of all that it perceives, you may begin to notice a greater and greater, and faster level of manifestation as to the things that are within that reality that you are used to living in. You can think of a teddy bear panda for a few seconds because you have heard someone talking about it, and then meditate and focus with all your might on manifesting the great liberation of the earth, and the next day see a lot of teddy bear pandas, but no earth news at all. How frustrating, isn't it? Why are you able to manifest those things that are of no use to you, but you are not able to manifest what you really want? Well, I recommend you to start from the basis that Marie explained recently in this video, where she explains that you manifest what you are, and not what you want. But to all that I would also add the component that you are trying to manifest something that involves many, many more people, and also breaks with the agreements of the reality in which you now find yourself and all those people. It is basically a God level of manifestation. You also have to bear in mind what the people involved in your desire want. It is never about being invasive. But difficult is never synonymous with impossible, and this I would like to emphasize now. Just because something is extremely difficult does not mean that it is impossible. And if I am saying this with these very complicated examples, imagine taking it into your daily life. I am not talking about manifesting something on a global level. I'm talking about manifesting what you want for yourself and your loved ones. At the end of the day, that is what matters most in the story you are living. It is possible that, by following that path, you will end up reaching a much bigger goal. Because it is a path. A journey. But wishing for something to happen, however simple or complicated, involves more than just thinking about it a lot and repeating out loud that you want it and that it will happen. Of course, words have an unimaginable power, especially at the unconscious and subconscious level, to help manifest situations, and therefore you must be consistent in using them. But if you really want something with all your heart, I am afraid you will have to do more than that. You will have to take action and be proactive in moving towards what you desire. So every time you find yourself thinking, I wish this or that would happen, continue the line of thought with the question, am I doing anything to make it happen? What could I try to do to increase the chances of what I want? Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you. It may be difficult to do what you want. It may be extremely difficult. It may even seem impossible. But you will never, ever get it if you stand still thinking about wishful thinking and saying, why try if it's too hard? Why try if it is almost impossible? You are the source. The source. If anyone should determine what is possible or not possible, it is you. If anyone decides to break your agreements, it will always be you. Conversely, if you believe they will never be broken, it will be you who dictates it. It may take time. Difficulties may arise after you turn every corner. An impenetrable wall may appear in front of you all the time. But it's up to you. Will you give up and sit on the floor, assuming that you will never get out of the labyrinth? Or will you keep looking for another solution or another path over and over again until you find the way out? Quoting Aryan.
If you have an important goal in front of you that is resisting you, you can see it as a puzzle. A puzzle or a very difficult figurine that you are unable to disassemble. The puzzle gives you no clues, so your figurine remains intact. You can get frustrated and abandon it if you wish, accepting that you will never be able to open it because it is too difficult for you to decipher. You wish it were a little easier and put it away in a drawer. You accept that you have tried and failed. Then, after a few days, you realize that you have been trying all this time to open it with the same or very similar movements, and you decide to look for the solution with a slight change of perspective. And the moment you change your moves, trying different combinations, you manage to open your puzzle. Before anything else, we must learn to recognize or locate that situation that we believe is out of our control, understand that it is there to overcome what we believe to be a limitation, and be able to move forward by taking another path.
Yes, sometimes it can be hopeless. Again and again the obstacles appear and it crosses your mind that it is not worth even entering the labyrinth. But if you really want to solve it, if you really want to reach the end, if you really want to find that situation that awaits you at the end of the maze, fight for it. Don't pretend to reach the finish line in an obstacle course without encountering hurdles along the way. Fear, the thought that it is too difficult, insecurity, problems that may seem to block your way, are nothing more than hurdles on an athletics track. If problems arise, they will be a test for you, a puzzle to solve. You will eventually find the solution if you really look for it. If there is insecurity in you and you think it is too difficult, I suggest you look at this image that Aryan found recently and that I would love to engrave in you. Simple, isn't it? If fear is the main obstacle to your progress towards what you are longing for, remember that fear is the lowest frequency that exists. It is necessary and wise to analyze situations before jumping headlong into them, and to act out of caution whenever there is something important at stake. However, it is also up to you to learn to differentiate where caution ends and fear begins, which will rely on that caution to find the perfect excuse that will make you convince yourself that it is best not to move. Moreover, to quote a person I admire and respect very deeply, there are levels of risk that are not only acceptable, but simply inescapable, and therefore we must go on with life accepting such risks. Everything great and innovative requires risk. Other people are also likely to remind you that it seems impossible, too difficult, or a million other things, implanting their own fear inside you. Remember that those who achieved what had never been achieved before had to do it with everyone telling them they would never do it. May you be lucky enough to have people in your life who, despite the fear of your failure and the fear that you might suffer, accompany you on your journey and support you, and watch how you, perhaps, got there. Now that you know it's not impossible, are you going to stand still? Are you not going to get up and move in the direction of what you want once and for all? Are you going to resign yourself?